Part 51. Exploring the World, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 501. Why is he going to be high again? Kunlun ruins is already in chaos. If he really wants to go, won't it make the already turbid situation even more chaotic? Can you stop it? A sole question left the heavenly official speechless. The other immortals pretended not to see anything and turned their sights to the distant North Sea. The two most important people in the Great Tribulation of the gods are Shen Gongbeo and Zhangxia. And when Shen Gongbeo, who had been sealed for countless years, suddenly appeared. Many people have already smelled the coming storm. I am afraid that before long, the universe, which has not been peaceful for long, will enter the quagmire of war again. Yashi naturally felt the burning flames of war approaching him. Even though the flames of war had not yet burned him, he felt that the already unstable universe was boiling more and more. This kind of energy tide can only be felt by those who have reached a certain level, just like the Great Tribulation of Gods, which was felt by Yuanqi Tianzun and others in advance. But now, this feeling of doom has become even more restless. You don't need Tianzun's cultivation to feel it. Why do I really feel that when I come to a world, the world is not peaceful? To put it in layman's terms, is my destiny the destroyer of planets? Tongzi, I'm asking you. Ding, host, I'm sleeping now, host, please respect the sleeping system. But in response to your question from the host, the system would like to make a supplement. To describe it in more accurate language, it should be, world destroyer. Most of the time, the world and the planet cannot be completely equated. Okay, actually I just want to know if the incident in Kunlun ruins has anything to do with me. Ding, you are really self-aware. How could this have nothing to do with you? Just like the revival of Blue Star's spiritual energy, and whatever world you go to, there will be great changes in these worlds. Yes, you think yes, these are all related to you. Very good, then I need an answer to another question. Regarding Teishu, was it really given to me by my future body? Yashi was always talking, and he didn't know what he was thinking of. At this time, he asked such a question. Ding, yes, your future sent you. Yashi chuckled, he was now passing through the sea very quickly, and then heading towards the North Sea. Everything on earth and in heaven looks like it is going to end. On the other hand, those in the audience who were standing and talking without pain in their backs were still laughing, and started making various guesses and jokes. It can only be said that they are indeed unaware of the danger that goes deep into their souls. The world is further accelerating, and even the abyss and heaven, which are fighting in different dimensions, are also looking at this place. Tianting really didn't expect that he would end up being robbed like this while fighting life and death in front of him, forcing him to gather his strength here again. At this time, Taisu's aura also began to flow in Kunlun ruins. Some monks who were extremely keen on this were aware of this strange power, and quite a few of them fell into Taisu's hallucination. Taisu, also known as being responsive to all requests. The root of all matter is the most primitive matter. At the same time, after Shen Gongbeo broke the seal, the place that originally belonged to him in his will began to show a little different color. The real world changes have begun. Yashi was thinking about whether this great change in the world had anything to do with him. It is indeed impossible for the system to deceive him. But sometimes, not deceiving does not mean it is the truth. Because for some things, the system may only tell half of it, or only know half of it. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 502. Future, future, future. Yashi murmured to himself. Every time he read these two words, he always had a strange feeling. This strange feeling touched his heart. I am afraid that only he could feel this feeling clearly. The world began to move unusually. This was not just a simple earthquake, but the entire world began to shake, or in other words, a part of the earth that symbolized the earth's veins was shaking. Shen Gongbao's original sanity was very well preserved, but under Taisu's erosion, he now no longer has any self, and has completely become Taisu's puppet. This is the most terrifying thing about Taisu. As long as you make a wish to Taisu, everything you own will be taken away by Taisu. This is the price of granting your request. And this price was not revealed at all. It was not until most of the people in heaven made a wish to Taisu that even the heavenly king couldn't bear it anymore. Taisu showed his fangs. Now, Taisu's business is not only developing towards the heaven, but also recruiting his own fanatic followers towards the abyss. At present, it seems to be quite useful. After all, not everyone in this world is like Yeshi, who lacks almost everything. There is also a system similar to a fully automatic wishing machine. The world began to roll, and the edge of the universe began to fade. This was an incredible scene, and only a handful of people saw the scene and were deeply frightened by it. Those immortals in the heaven who were already a little broken now wished that they had never appeared in this world, otherwise they would not have encountered such horrific things one after another. Now they felt that their brains were about to explode. Of course, Yeshi still has an aloof appearance, fully demonstrating what is called everyone's style. Although there are turbulence everywhere, these storms have not affected Yeshi at all. It seems that Yeshi and others are not the same. Same in the same space. The seven-colored light representing heaven appeared in the sky, and the camera broadcast all this live. However, in the live broadcast room, there were many fewer netizens who were still in the water, because their respective worlds began to become chaotic. When the Kunlun ruins could not stabilize and the battlefields in heaven and abyss began to deteriorate. No place will be a paradise. Obviously, those ordinary planets are even more impossible. Among so many planets, the changes in Blue Star are especially significant. This is completely different from the slow changing seen before, similar to the revival of spiritual energy. It is equivalent to going directly from 1 to 10,000, which horrifies anyone and any force. Although Yeshi was still strolling leisurely, the solemnity and gunpowder smoke that washed away from different worlds still made him feel something. But right now, no real heavyweight has taken action, so we have to keep looking. Yeshi guessed that the birth of Shen Gongbao was like igniting sparks on a planet full of bombs. This was the cause of the drastic changes in the universe. However, if you want to verify this, you have to wait until those heavenly lords or the original gods in the abyss are born before you can be sure. Only after you are sure can you decide what to do next. This was the first time Yeshi encountered such a lack of information. However, the system had already entered the dormant stage because of the information given to him before. Otherwise, it would have been his turn to cheat now. But Yeshi touched his chin, but still felt that many of the words the system said at that time had too much profound meaning, and he just chose to say those words at that time before falling into a deep sleep. Why did he feel something was wrong? The traces of the avenue have changed from being difficult to find to being visible by looking up, which has also led to many people turning to the avenue just by looking up. And the earth and the deep sea were torn apart, forming huge abyss cracks. The monsters from the abyss slowly crawled out of the huge mouth of the abyss. Well, no problem, it seems that the world is indeed coming to an end. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pianhai. Chapter 503. Yeshi looked at the gaping abyss mouths on the ground, as well as the monsters from the abyss that were constantly crawling towards Kunlun ruins, and the Kunlun ruins, which had only two completely sealed entrances and was now leaking air everywhere. He actually wanted to say that this had nothing to do with him, if he had not heard those words, but now, Yeshi looked at the live broadcast room and there were not many barrage comments, and he also recognized those comments about himself. What kind of walking world-destroying machine is this? At this time, the mortals in the world have not yet realized that what Yeshi destroyed this time was not an ordinary world like before. Of course, the worlds he destroyed in the past were not very ordinary either. Although Yeshi was still dubious at this time, he was still committed to maintaining his image externally and maintained a negative attitude towards those speculations. The monsters from the abyss did not choose to attack Yeshi, who was right in front of him. Instead, there was a huge mouth of the abyss that had cracked under Yeshi's feet. After the first monster crawled out and saw Yeshi, this crack opened. The huge mouth of the abyss suddenly closed. Looking at Yeshi, his head is covered with black lines. At this time, we should be the only ones who can have such a comedic effect. I don't know why, I really want to laugh. In fact, I shouldn't laugh, because there is an abyss opening near my home planet, but I really want to laugh, because I have no idea about the destruction of us and our civilization. Other feelings, accept them happily, just feel that my home planet is in trouble, my poor home planet. Amen, me too. Me too. Maybe it's because I live too well in reality, so I don't care whether the world survives or dies. How old are you? Tomcat, let me remind you, upstairs, the person upstairs is a well-known theologian who has been invited to many galaxies to give a series of lectures. Theologians, then the question is, no, theologians, they are all here in this live broadcast room. There are also theologians. Do you think the God you believe in really exists? The God you can understand does not exist. The God you cannot understand exists. You do not understand. I have seen the sun from eternity. What does this sudden closing of the abyss mean? Speaking of which, I actually want to go in and take a look. Could it be that they have already seen my intention and are they expressing their rejection? The problem is that it's not just this door. To be honest, I really didn't expect that the situation would change so quickly. Yeshi sighed. He stood here, waved a cloud and sat down. When he sat down cross-legged, the scene in all directions suddenly changed. From here, you can have an overview of the entire Kunlun ruins. It's too much trouble to walk around. I'll just watch here. This was when the space was twisted and pulled, and Yeshi and the people in the world also saw the monster like Shen Gongbeo at the same time. Why did he recognize this as Shen Gongbeo at a glance? Because opposite Shen Gongbeo, there was an immortal who was loudly greeting him and his whole family. You actually colluded with Tai Su, Shen Gongbeo. It would have been better for Tianzun to just disinfect you and scatter your soul to pieces than to suffer the disaster today. Do you know that all the previous efforts have been wasted because of you? You have never seen what the battlefield looked like before the heaven collapsed. You should really open your eyes and see. Because of you, the situation now will be even worse than that time. Tai Su was able to enter the Kunlun ruins. How did he get in? Who on earth betrayed heaven again? The sound of anger shook the world, and the deep sky was filled with terrible bloodstains. The vast ocean of energy surges like a sea of blood, and those densely packed abyss mouths are like black holes. The entire universe is rapidly sliding from order to disorder. This is just like the rules of the universe. It is clear that the abyss is causing inhumane destruction to the universe, but instead of helping heaven, the universe is helping the abyss. The layers of space began to collapse. This was an extremely terrifying scene. The stars that once gave birth to splendid civilizations exploded one by one, or were burned, or the world melted, or were invaded by the abyss, or continued to fall into different dimensions, or suffered even more terrifying phenomena of destruction. Heavenly Court obviously cannot accept such a situation. Some powerful ones among them tried to take action and dragged other universes over from outside the universe, hoping to overlap the universes to ease the current bad situation. This kind of measure is useful, but the speed of the stars in the sky is too fast. The war between the abyss and the heaven would easily break the universe into darkness and fragments. the universe Yeshi sees now is the result of countless repairs. Destruction is always easier than construction, destruction is always easier than rebirth, disorder is always easier than order. The exploding essence and blood spread from one corner of the universe to another. And the war that continued in different dimensions came to the entire universe in an all-round way, and the blood of chaos was filled with the aura of world destruction. This will be the end of an era. Even if heaven continues to struggle, everything will eventually come to an end. Taisu and Abyss both wanted to end this era, and Heavenly Court was indeed powerful enough that even after the two superimposed and even destroyed Heavenly Court, they still maintained basic stability. However, a great and imminent era cannot be stopped by any human power. This era will be buried, and another era will come. When that era comes, Taishu will also wake up. Yes, this is something all these Tianzun know. Several Tianzun actually paid attention to Yeshi, but they only thought that he was a cultivator with extraordinary talent. But no matter how powerful he is and how outstanding his cultivation talent is, such a short period of time cannot change anything. No one will pin their hopes on Yeshi. To be more precise, no one thinks of Yeshi at all now. Only two Tianzun know about Taishu being in Yeshi's hands, and these two Tianzun are paying attention to Yeshi at this time. They want to predict when the next era will come through what happened to Yeshi. At this time, Yeshi was eating melons and watching the show. He didn't know that there were two Tianzun peeping at him, nor did he know that there was such a huge secret hidden between the Heavenly Court, the Abyss, and Taisu. The birth of secrets is related to rules, so people who are not qualified cannot know the secrets. Yeshi looked at Shen Gongbeo, who seemed to have a clear mind and was retorting, and couldn't help but shed a tear of sympathy for him. You really can't escape the fate of being a tool, whether in the past or now. At this moment, it's just like that moment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 504. According to the Big Rip theory, the acceleration of the expansion of the universe will continue to increase, exceeding the attraction of gravity to matter particles, causing all matter in the universe to eventually be separated and torn into fragments the size of atomic nuclei. In this case, the matter will become increasingly sparse and the distance between each particle will become larger and larger, until these particles can no longer interact or get close together. When the last particle is torn into pieces, it will become the only particle of matter in the universe and will be floating alone in the universe. After this moment, since there will be no other particles of matter for it to interact with, time will stop flowing because no events or processes can occur, and therefore this moment will be the end of the universe and it will enter an eternal, static state. This is the end of our era and the future of the next era. Neither you nor I want this future to become a reality, but now, all timelines are moving towards this future, even though we have tried our best to prevent it for so long. But the future still arrives as scheduled. This slightly distant voice sounded in a special place. At the same time, there was another clear laughter that gradually faded away and appeared in the silence. A sinister divine sword was suddenly pulled out from the Nantian gate and burst out toward the sky. I thought you wanted a future like everyone else. They always want to find the future, but they don't know that it is impossible for them to find the future. What is the future that can be found? It is really wrong to want to get out of the current situation and go further, but only place hope in the future. Do you think they are ridiculous, or are they ridiculous? They have lived for such a long time and are still asking for things from outside. What they ask for is returned to themselves, and what they ask for is returned to others. Lingbao, they just want to find another way, and have you found the way you are looking for? Shangqing Lingbao Tianzun looked at the stream of light flying from a distance, and the Zuxian sword fell beside him. He nodded first, and then shook his head. I'm just trying to let the future change this universe? Don't you think you are even more unreasonable than them? According to this, it is better to discuss it with Taisu, and let's join forces with Taisu together. Are you still asking me? Lingbao Tianzun's voice was a little surprised. Didn't you come into contact with Taisu a long time ago? Your good disciple, you opened a hole for him and asked Taisu to help him get out of trouble. Alas, this Shen Gongbao, when you are your disciple and all the real his luck has run out, he has been reclaimed from the sea and has to be pulled out to serve as a tool again. Yuanqi Tianzun did not answer, but continued to ask Lingbao Tianzun. You didn't answer my question. I understand. What you mean is that you have found a way to change the next era of the universe in the future. How did you do it? Lingbao Tianzun laughed, then regained his expression and became solemn. I never said this, I just have a little idea, but I only know a little more than you do. After all, the future is usually elusive and cannot be found. Even though I am Tianzun, and after all, there is no existence of that concept, so naturally, there is no future. In this regard, we are all inferior to the Supreme Being. He is the one who has been around the longest among us, and I don't even know what he is doing now. Now, look. In this special place, in the direction of infinity, two eyes traveled across time and space to look at Kunlun ruins, Yeshi who was eating melon, and the person connected to Yeshi, the live broadcast in front of him, a line in between. At the end of this line is Tais Hanglejun, the boss who often appears in Yeshi's live broadcast room, who occasionally leaks big news. It's really Tais Hanglejun. At this time, from the perspective of Lingbao and Yuanqi, the Supreme Lord was surfing the internet and watching live broadcasts like ordinary people. It seems that he has completely sunk into his mortal identity. Lingbao Tianzun glanced at Yuanqi, with a smile in his eyes. Yuanqi frowned, then looked at Tais Hanglejun. How do you understand that mortals can change the established era and the future? Only the future can change the future, so he is wasting his power here? Does he know what kind of chaos the heaven has become? The entire universe is in danger, and countless people, the timelines are beginning to collapse, and even parallel worlds can no longer help us maintain the balance of the universe. A dark age is coming, but here he is, just like a mortal, carrying out these entertainment activities, even his true form. It is clear that only a trivial clone can solve everything for these activities. What on earth is he doing? What on earth are you doing? Do you think you can escape from the universe this time? We should have understood long ago that when pieces of parallel universes continue to collapse, we should know that even if we want to leave, it is just a luxury. We can travel across dimensions and universes, but we are not eternal, and we are not like other great beings. Do you want us to flatter that universe? Lingbao, you know, this is impossible. I have never thought about it this way. The smile in Lingbao Tianzun's eyes finally disappeared and turned serious. That great being represents eternity, so everything he anchors will also be eternal. This means that his world will not have our formation, residence, badness, and emptiness, and other great beings also have with similar power. You should know that only the future can save us, and that is the great existence bred by our universe. As for flattery, Lu Dongban's words are exactly what I want. I, a cultivator, are incompatible with that place. You might as well be like that cat you raised, big or small, and give the abyss to the eternal universe. Okay. Yuanqi Tianzun suddenly stopped Lingbao Tianzun's words. I don't care what you are planning, you all should know that the era we have tried our best to maintain has fallen at an uncontrollable speed. Even if I use Shen Gongbao to let Taisu enter, it will still be of no avail. Your approach is best effective. Otherwise, I will not hesitate to sacrifice the whole universe with blood. You are Sanking. It's okay for you to cooperate with Taisu. After all, Taisu is the epitome of the times, but how can you say the blood sacrifice? Even if you do it, you can only drink the dove to quench your thirst, and you can't change anything at all. Lingbao Tianzun's voice became fierce, but Yuanqi Tianzun's face calmed down and disappeared into the darkness. Then die immediately, or die in 3 months, which one do you choose? I sacrifice blood to all living beings just to save them. In such a future and era, we can survive, what should they do? If you can't do it alone, no one in heaven will help you, not even if you add Tai Su, because ties hang, and I will stop you. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the universe has wanted to destroy the gods for a long time. It even gave birth to the abyss because we blocked the arrival of that era. The universe will help me. You, Psi. These circulating words were not known to Yeshi. In fact, he was watching Shen Gongbao's performance now and even drank some watermelon and melon seeds. During this period, many ordinary monks who were desperate because of troubles in heaven and the emergence of the abyss saw Yeshi and received Yeshi's protection. It was regarded as shelter. Although Yeshi didn't look or move, he just expanded the field around him, forming a small safe period. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 505. When millions of rays of light began to bloom towards the universe, the boundary between the ground and the sky began to blur. The fragments of the universe fell in different places, all carrying powerful energy. The powerful fluctuations of the impact caused every life in the universe to be able to sense that not only the universe was fluctuating, but even their own bodies began to break and fluctuate. That is, the body that was originally a fixed constant state suddenly became extremely easy to scatter. When space is no longer fixed, time also completely disappears in the infinite universe. Those fixed time and space, and the fixed particles produced, also broke away from the previous constraints, and began to collide. For example, a special life that is watching a live broadcast, it is still typing and posting bullet comments there, and it turns out that its fingers are beginning to dismember and dissipate. Starting from the fingers, and then to the whole body, the macroscopic individual composed of microscopic particles is completely deconstructed. And this deconstruction begins to appear frequently throughout the universe. All material particles have been torn into pieces and isolated from each other, unable to interact with each other. Although there are still those surging energies, the war between the abyss and the heaven. But this sign is so obvious that even mortals can perceive it. In Kunlun ruins, Yeshi seemed to have sensed something in an instant, and looked towards the universe, but still could not see anything clearly. This strange feeling has appeared once before. Because of the current critical situation, Yeshi silently remembered this matter in his heart. At the same time, he heard the sound of electric current from the system, and the familiar system voice also sounded. Host, another cosmic change is coming, the era of the sub-universe is coming, we will witness a new completely dark world, let's run away quickly. Yeshi. Time is because of different speeds, resulting in huge differences in the perception of time in different people, just like the speed of time that 1 year in heaven and 100 years on earth. Yeshi actually didn't notice it, or rather, what he experienced were all changes in space, such as watching fireworks in Kunlun ruins now. Yes, that's right, Kunlun ruins has been blown to pieces. Sometimes, reality is so dramatic. Or, it is precisely because of the completely different flow of time that some things that are impossible to happen occur. Era? Is the era you are talking about related to the special place I saw in the Five Gods Mountain? Yes, host, a magnificent era is about to pass, and everything in this era will be buried, and the future era will slide into an incomparable abyss. Let's run away quickly. The system has locked other universes in advance, and you, the host, will not be locked by the universe. We are the only ones who can escape. It doesn't make any sense to open Yeshi's live broadcast room now. After all, the entire material world began to collapse. Of course, the material world collapsed first, and the spiritual dimension also began to fall infinitely. All macros are collapsing, collapsing from high latitudes to low dimensions, and from macros to micros. The entire universe is also collapsing from the era of heaven to a brand new era. Oh my goodness, so is it the end of the world? Ding, it's the end of the universe. Just like people are born, grow old, get sick and die, the universe should also have birth, existence, decay, and emptiness. Everything will lead to another destined ending. Host, haven't you seen the return to the abyss? All things return to the abyss. And all life and non-life, matter and non-matter, will fall into the infinite return to the abyss together, becoming completely empty, and then perhaps usher in a new life, or perhaps eternal darkness. This, no existence can predict. After all, except for the future itself, no one can know what the future is. The system's voice suddenly paused, and then spoke very fluently, but this pause made Yeshi aware of something wrong. The future again. Didn't you say that the abyss, heaven, and Taisu are all looking for this thing? Why can't they find it? Also, what do you mean by running away quickly? There are still a lot of places in this universe that I haven't been to. Even if something really happened to the universe, can other parallel worlds overlap to complete this universe? This should be a feasible solution. Ding, impossible. Now everything in the universe is heading towards heat death. All energy is flowing towards lower dimensions, and then all dimensions and different levels of space will collapse completely. This cannot be compensated by other parallel universes. More importantly, when this universe slides into another era, it will drive a large number of parallel universes to slide into that era together. This is irreversible, just like in the eyes of ordinary humans. People will die and the sun will set, which is the truth of the entire universe. Of course, it can also be regarded as not the truth, but no one can prove that it is not the truth, and no one has found that there is a different final era. I just started playing for a short time. How come the entire universe has become like this? Why, is it because of me again? Yeshi was really puzzled. Why did everything become weird when it happened to him? In fact, he really didn't feel anything about the final extinction of the universe that the system said, and the biggest feeling was that it was a pity that Kunlun ruins exploded. After all, there are still many treasures in there that he has not seen, and there are many interesting places that he has not been to. At least he really wants to see the long-rumored Wuzhuang Temple and the ginseng fruit tree. What a pity, what a pity. Yeshi stretched out his hand to support his head, watching the gods in the heavens being smashed into pieces and speaking anxiously, and began to fight with all their strength. Huh. Everything seemed to be different all of a sudden. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 506. Although the parallel world does not play a big role, the gods in the heaven are still trying their best to maintain the balance of the world, trying to maintain this era in this precarious universe and prevent another era from coming. However, the trend of the times cannot be stopped by individual power, so even though they have used various methods, they still cannot stop the mighty trend of the entire universe. It can even be said that the concept of the entire universe is blocking the actions of the gods in the heaven. This is a process that all universes must go through, without any exception, and only truly great beings can prevent everything that should have happened. A future. How is it possible that the supplement and coverage of parallel worlds actually work? This is impossible. Did I make a mistake in my previous calculation? As long as enough parallel universes are covered, the decline of the universe can be stopped. Those lives that have been reduced from the macroscopic to the microscopic level are actually trying to upgrade their dimensions. It's really weird. Some noisy sounds rang out in the universe. Only a very few people caught these sounds, but the panic of everything in the universe disappeared in every individual life, and even in the existence of the Milky Way. Hey, it seems that someone is trying to restore Kunlun ruins. No, this is a parallel world. Hundreds of parallel worlds are covering this universe together. Such a big deal. Yeshi's voice rang in the heavens. As a seemingly detached cultivator, he was actually noticed by many people, but because he did not get involved in the fight between the Abyss and the Heavenly Court, there were basically no powerful characters with poor brains on both sides to trouble him. When his voice sounded, the Kunlun ruins, which had been shattered into pieces of ice, seemed to have used a magic to restore it. But it was not time reversal, because it was the overlap of hundreds of parallel worlds. Have you really found the future? A special place? Yuanqi Tianzun looked at the scene in front of him. Originally, the war should have continued to burn for many years, and countless material worlds would fall and collapse layer by layer. All high latitudes would fall to low latitudes, and then all matter and energy would return to the ruins, but now, this future that had appeared countless times in other universes has been changed. Incredible, how did you do it? Yuanqi Tianzun looked at Lingbao Tianzun and couldn't help but wonder. Yeshi also frowned and found that things were not simple. What's going on? It's still recovering. Should I continue the live broadcast? Tongzi, do we still need to run away now? System. The dull sound of electric current flowed through Yeshi's ears, and then turned into a human body. Ding, Ying, it should be no need. Why are you so uncertain? Ding, I am still in deep sleep, but it seems that now due to the great changes in the universe, I don't need to sleep. Yeshi. What are you talking about? Ding, I don't know what happened to this universe. The entire universe seems to have begun to go in another direction and era. No, the host may have appeared in the future. I don't know if Taisu or someone else got it, otherwise we should run away. Yeshi didn't know what to say at this time, but the live broadcast room had already watched the whole process of the broken and reappeared completely different Kunlun ruins from broken to restored, and was now in shock and disbelief. Don't I still have my future body? Why worry so much? Let's go down and take a look. We haven't met Taisu face to face yet. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? I'm only a golden immortal and a dream god. If I go out like this, won't other multiverses easily fall apart? I'm very stable, okay. Yeshi muttered to the system while explaining to the audience in the live broadcast room as usual. It looks normal, but no one thinks he's normal because Yeshi looks too normal. Explosion, it really exploded my worldview. My home planet just exploded, and then recovered under my eyes. I just wanted to ask Yeshen what I found on my home planet, but I found that Kunlun ruins was the same. Ahem, this matter should be able to be told, that's right. I don't know either. Get lost, you are still joking at this time, seriously, what happened? Oh my god, who is still posting comments now, at this time, who has time to make public opinions and watch live broadcasts, is he really alive? Living king of hell, the dead have no time, don't slander the dead. White impermanence, yes, the underworld is also in big trouble now, you living people should reflect on yourselves. So brother you. Just when everyone was about to ask what was going on and what happened, Yeshi's action shocked everyone. Against the heavens. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 507. Actually, I'm also very confused about what happened, so let's go take a look now. Yeshi's words were very simple, and his actions were also very simple, but in the eyes of everyone, it was not simple at all. Going against heaven, why do you prefer to go to Tiger Mountain even though you know that there are tigers in the mountains? This is not a matter of whether a tiger is a tiger or a tiger family members, who knows, this is too outrageous. Tomcat, I have never been convinced by anyone in my life, and of course I have never been convinced by non-human beings, but now I am really convinced by this little sea god. He is so brave, so I will moisten it now and run away. Is Kunlun ruins back to normal again? Back to normal, you ghost, I feel like I'm back to normal, you can go check it out too. No, brothers, no one of you has explained what happened, why I watched my home planet explode and then recover again. Kunlun ruins has not actually returned to normal. You should know about glass. Kunlun ruins is now like broken glass that fell to the ground and then stuck together. It's just that this piece of glass is different from the previous one. But this is a good thing for us. After all, the exploration that was accidentally interrupted can start again, right? Yashi looked at the camera with a smile, his gaze very firm, and his eyes shining brightly as he looked at the Kunlun ruins below. Yes, that's right, he is now looking at his ginseng fruit trees, Jianmuo and Phoenix Nest, as well as the real Kunlun Mountains, Wuzhuang Temple, Yaokai and other places that Yeshi has been thinking about. He originally thought that the Kunlun ruins would explode. If you lose it, everything will be lost, or you will have to find it piece by piece. Unexpectedly, this luck could not be stopped. Kunlun ruins recovered for some unknown reason, and all the places he wanted to go returned to normal. Yeshi's words naturally reached the ears of the audience in the live broadcast room. At this time, their expressions could no longer be said to be simply dull, but simply dead. Is this a good thing for us? Mistake. That's a good thing for me, correct? We are not worthy of Yeshen, you use us, thank you for your promotion, so you are really so big-hearted, when unknown things are happening in the entire universe, you are still thinking about your exploration career, you are so dedicated really, I have never seen anyone as dedicated as you. I don't know what to say when faced with this situation, so I'll come next. Me, let me kowtow first. Yeshi was not very surprised when he saw these barrages. He just easily passed through many obstacles and landed in Kunlun ruins. The flowing black smoke, the gaping bloody abyss, the ever-healing walls of the world, and the battles that hid from the sky to the ground, from the universe to the Kunlun ruins, seemed to have no impact on Yeshi at all. He landed safely on the land, but the land is still being repaired, including the ocean. The sea level can no longer be called sea level, but is crooked and tilting downward, as if it is all about to flow in. It's the same as in Gigzu. The vast and boundless battlefield, even though the future has been changed, it still has not stopped the war between the abyss and heaven, not to mention Taisu is still involved in it. That is to say, because there are too many uncertain factors, the top management has some scruples about their combat capabilities, otherwise the world would have collapsed long ago. Of course, this is indeed the case now, but isn't it because there are immortals in heaven who are desperately trying to move parallel worlds to fill the gap in this universe? Because in the coming next era, it seems that the future has fallen into a strange state, and those previous rules and limited locked secrets are suddenly scattered. No one can predict the future, just as it is never possible for mortals to achieve eternity. This is something only great beings can do. Although Yeshi didn't know this, he felt that the great restrictions in the world were being passively revealed, and some things would not be erased by the rules even if he said it, so after he landed on the land, he tell the things directly. I know you are all surprised. You should rest assured about this, because every intelligent life entity in the universe will be surprised. It is not that everyone has not felt the conceptual power that seemed to erase everything before. It seems like this is a bit tricky, but it's actually very tricky. To be specific, no one needs to explain it. It's because the fluctuations in the war between heaven, abyss, and Taisu caused a chain reaction in the universe. Yes, you can hear these two words now, but you can't remember them. Anyway, just listen to me. Yeshi casually filled up the entire entrance to the abyss, stepped on it with 2 feet, and continued. Because the three forces caused a chain reaction in the universe, leading to the phenomenon of the end of the universe that you have seen, but I estimate that this similar phenomenon of the end of the universe has occurred countless times. So don't panic. The last time an unknown existence established the heavenly court, I explained to you the concept of parallel worlds and parallel universes. In a sense, it is the continuously accumulating parallel universes that are superimposed on this universe. So the end you guessed has not come. Then in the superposition of countless parallel universes, many of your lives will have a sense of reset. Don't be surprised. This sense of reset comes from the universe next door, but the universe next door has disappeared and overlapped in this universe, so your isotope in the universe next door has also overlapped on you. This is the truth of how things developed. Yeshi took the lead in applauding. Then Tai's Hanglajun also applauded vigorously, and by the way supported Yeshi in the barrage table. Tai's Hanglajun, you are right, it is indeed the case. Yes, is it, so it is like this. Yes, that's it. Is the truth really like this? Yeshi can be sure that it is definitely not the case, because the system has told him that the power from the future has appeared. All of this is the influence of the future, and the future has changed the future. But he just didn't say the deepest reason, and now what he said is all the facts and the truth, at least the truth seen by most people and even immortals. Only those who understand can understand the true meaning of this. Yeshi sighed helplessly as he looked at the Kunlun ruins that broke the balance and appeared in turn in the heaven and the abyss. Really, I just want to explore well. What's wrong with me? Why do these guys always block my way? Yeshi casually filled another big mouth of the abyss, looked at the strange-looking monsters that were forced to be buried in the yellow mud, and stepped on them fiercely. The current situation is very serious. Yeshi touched his chin and said calmly. It's not too serious now even if the sky falls, as long as Yeshen is not panicking, I will never panic. It's okay if Yeshen is not panicking, and it's okay if you are not panicking, it's just that one is in the heaven and the other is in the underworld. Bai Vuchain, bold, are you discriminating against the underworld? I just need a ghost messenger now, so you are the one, come on. Under such a serious situation, how should I start my exploration live broadcast business? It really makes me a little worried. Yeshi said it quite seriously, but the listeners wanted to spit on him. Tongzi, why don't you continue to update my exploration progress? Ding, Kunlun ruins has been blown up. How can I update? I am now rebuilding the Kunlun ruins data model and the universe data model. Oh, so you are on the technology side. I remember that you rewarded me with nutrient solution at the beginning of the live broadcast. Ding, it's like this, host. I am the live broadcast room of all heavens and worlds, not one side. After the exploration of Kunlun ruins is over, the exploration of this universe has actually reached its peak. The host can go to different worlds for exploration. The system is now perfecting the model of all heavens and worlds. Please prepare for the host. Yeshi's heart moved. Then I won't will my mother universe explode when I come back from exploring outside. Ding. The system stalled. Ding, not for the time being, the future of the next era has been changed. After the infinite years, only when the future truly appears will we step into the next era, or we will never step into the next era, because there is no certain future, naturally there will be no certain era. Okay. Yeshi snapped his fingers, looked into the distance, and smiled brightly with his big white teeth. Everyone, look ahead, that's Xuanhuan Temple. The world is big in the sleeves, and the sun and moon are long in the pot. P.S. I have something to do in the past few days, and I will resume updating from today. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 508. Obviously, it's the mansion of the immortal immortals, the Taoist family who lives the same life as heaven. Isn't it the blessed land of Wanchao Mountain and the Wuzhuang view of the cave heaven? What I see is indeed that the universe is vast in the sleeve and the sun and moon are long in the pot. What's going on, because this is the place of the ancestor of the earth immortal, but family, this universe is about to be destroyed. Do we really want to watch his live broadcast here with Yeshen so leisurely? If the sky falls, there will still be tall people holding it up. If it explodes, it will explode. I think the whole universe will explode. I, Yeshen, am still here, working hard on the live broadcast. This is true, then I will rub my hands and wait to see what happens next. From the appearance alone, this Xuanhuan temple looks like a fairy cave, and perhaps because the owner is too powerful, the swamp of war has not fallen here, and there is still a sect of fairy spirits here. Although there are no colorful phoenixes and blue dragons surrounding it, the ginseng fruit tree, the spiritual root of heaven and earth, can still be seen outside Xuanhuan temple. The branches are twisted, and the emerald-like leaves reveal a different luster under the sun. The main trunk of the tree stands like a dragon in the view, with bursts of rays of light on it, and occasionally children can be heard playing. Sound. However, the sound only lasted for a moment, and then quickly dissipated, making people think it was an hallucination. The sounds of these children playing in the live broadcast room were also captured, and almost everyone thought it was an hallucination. Xuanhuan is very special here. There is actually a war going on among the sun stars in the sky, so that the sun's light disappears and appears like a convulsion. Don't look at Yeshi's indifferent appearance and think that the universe has stabilized. Even when the universe was really about to explode, he was very calm and chatting with the system. Not to mention now, the future tends to be more complicated and uncertain. Anyway, no one believes Yeshi's statement that he has always been stable, not even the system. The big holes in the sky and on the ground are slowly being repaired, but the entrances to the abyss that have opened up cannot completely disappear because of the overlapping of the universe. Occasionally, a fierce sword light comes from the sky and the earth. The sword energy stretches 30,000 miles and cuts off a piece of yin and yang. Although the power system of the abyss monsters on the ground is completely different from that of heaven, the authority they control representing the power of the universe can give those monks a heavy blow. Generation after generation of gods, the true sons and daughters of the universe now seem to be the villains in the abyss, instead of the heaven that has been shining for thousands of years. In Yeshi's live broadcast room, almost 99% of them supported Tianting. Of course, 99% of the people did not know that Tianting was the villain to their parent universe. The yin and yang are dusk, the sun and stars are dim, these do not appear in Xuanhuan temple. The space here and the various colors of light are very stable. Order will always fall towards disorder, including the current chaotic and disordered universe. There are only a few places in Kunlun ruins where the light of order can still shine. Of course, this is not the heaven that has been set on fire and exploded, but is usually on the ground. Xuanhuan temple counts as one, the other Fankan mountain counts as one, and the real Kunlun mountain counts as one. The white crane landed in front of Yeshi, flying lightly and gracefully. As soon as it landed on the ground, the fairy-like white crane turned into a boy. He saw a boy coming towards him, with a face like gold, eyebrows like purple clouds, silver leaf fan at the temples, a dragon robe with a jade belt, fluttering clothes and a jade crown, smiling brows and eyes, and a majestic expression that made people dare not look at him. He greeted him solemnly, and in an instant, he saw clouds and light all around, holding a jade in his hand, and walking lightly, like a flying fairy. In such a chaotic world, at this chaotic moment, the appearance of such a fairy boy has to shock countless people, as if they have traveled back to the ancient times. Many years in the past have returned to the hearts of many people. Outside this area, the wailing Kunlun ruins and the heavenly court are once again on the verge of being broken. Such an obvious contrast with this place has left many people deeply moved. Sigh deeply. Family members, did Xuanhuan, the great immortal, appear in the last heavenly period? Why do I think he is so powerful now? Don't doubt it, it's just that it's very powerful. As for whether it appeared last time, how do we know? We should be the only ones watching the live broadcast now, the real bosses are fighting desperately. Tomcat, that's not the case. Look at me, your dear blue cat, isn't it right here at this moment? The traces of the great immortal Xuanhuan have always been a mystery, including when the last heavenly court fell. There was no news about him, but he did appear in the camp that helped heavenly court. But with Fang Kunshan like that one, there is no trace of mystery. There are folk rumors that these two are suspected to be deities. I would like to ask, if the universe is so dangerous now, where are the heavenly lords? Tai Shanglajun, of course I am watching you. Awkward laughter. JPG. Master, please come and watch us together. While there were a lot of random speculations in the live broadcast room, the boy took 2 steps forward, lowered his head slightly, then came up to Yeshi and said these words. It's a good relationship. I've been to so many places, and this is the first time I've met someone so polite. Yeshi first nodded slightly at the white crane child, then smiled and said to the live broadcast room on the side. The boy he turned a deaf ear to what Yeshi said and did. He just waited with a smile. When Yeshi took the first step, he walked sideways to lead the way for Yeshi. But I saw the red flags flying on the pavilion, the green clusters in the building twinkling, the corridors surrounded by golden rings, and the jade trees in front of the palace. Among the pines and bamboos, plum blossoms, orchids, and chrysanthemums complement each other. When the fruits are in red, the fragrance of the garden is astonishing. The beams and pillars are towering, the door is open, the carved railings are extremely beautiful, the water in the crane pool is clear and birds are flying, and the cranes are playing freely. One scene at a time, changing sceneries at each step. Just after taking 2 steps, the world had already changed its appearance, shaking the worlds in all directions. It can be said that the universe is vast in the sleeve, and the sun and moon are long in the pot. In the Kunlun ruins, there are many cave heaven blessed lands, and these cave heaven blessed lands, everyone wants to compare with the Wuzhuang temple of Xuanhuan, the ancestor of the earth immortals. The same is true for the cave heaven paradise where Yeshi clicked away the golden winged rock as soon as he came in. But when these monks who had been in Kunlun ruins for a long time really saw the Wuzhuang temple where the ancestor of the earth immortal lived, they discovered that the caves and paradises that were previously listed in Kunlun ruins were really inferior in comparison. Not worth mentioning. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 509. My Haoshan God, this is incredible. Is that the person upstairs from the west? Respect Zhang Baron. Zhang Baron, yes, I took some time out of my busy schedule to take a look at the live broadcast room. I didn't expect the anchor to go to Wuzhuang Temple. It's true that everyone has his limit, but he has no limit. At this moment, I don't know if Lao Zhang is praising Yeshen or something else. This is really the immortal cave. I feel very sad when I think that the entire Kunlun ruins used to be like this, but now it is no longer like this. Who could have blown up the Kunlun ruins with 1,000 knives? Ever since I knew there was such a place, I have always dreamed of going there. Who says it's not the case, but the changes in the world are so unexpected. I can only say that manpower is exhausted. There are limits to being a human being, and there are limits to heaven, but there are no limits to being a Yeshen. You should all understand what I mean. Yes, the sea of blood is rolling outside, the underworld is full of ghosts, the Milky Way stars are falling to the world one after another, the sea on the earth is rushing to the ruins, there are countless deaths and wars, but it is really too relaxing here, as relaxed as 2 worlds, 2 universes are the same. Of course, I am not talking about Yeshen. Yeshen has always had his own cosmic magnetic field. What was said above is great, yes, that's it. Did your master see me coming and want to invite me? Yeshi was very curious about the great immortal Zhenyuanzi and the white crane boy in front of him. The boy Beihe still asked Yeshi questions and answers in a very simple and elegant manner. That's not the case, layman. I have wanted to invite you for a long time. It's just that Wuzhuang Temple and your place are tens of thousands of miles apart and there are countless barriers. In addition, your whereabouts are unpredictable, so I haven't been able to invite you. My master once sent a boy to your university, but unfortunately, you had already traveled overseas at that time, so the invitation was not sent to you. So I couldn't be more happy when I saw you, layman, near Wuzhuang Temple. Please, layman, those are the boys raised by the master. Further inside, there is the Bagua alchemy room, the 9-turn golden alchemy furnace and many medicinal materials. There are also many Taoist priests practicing there. While walking along the way, I saw the Wuzhuang Temple standing against the mountain. It has a quiet environment. The scenery inside the temple has always been wonderful. All kinds of treasures, cauldrons, jars, etc. are all rare. They are arranged so that birds do not trample on the grass, animals do not wander, and this small area is like a vast palace in heaven. Your master's cultivation is really profound. Beihe boy was neither humble nor arrogant, he still just looked at Yeshi with a smile. The layman is so complimentary, please come here. I suddenly switched from the Doomsday Fantasy live broadcast room to the classical fairy tale live broadcast room. I guess it's not my problem. Why did Yeshen suddenly speak so classically and elegantly? It's very embarrassing for us illiterate people to watch the live broadcast, okay. That is, can you be considerate of illiterate people like us? Why didn't any of you pay attention? Zhen Yuanzi had sent an invitation letter to Yeshen before, or sent it to Yeshen's university. Is it true? Why didn't we know about this? Aaleguo, really, it was hidden, of course you don't know. Go on, how could you do this? We also have the right to know the truth. Aaleguo, because we didn't take it seriously at that time, and the white crane didn't turn into a human being and talk to us. Does anyone know why the great immortal Zhen Yuanzi invited Yeshen at that time, and how he knew Yeshen's information? Why do you still send this barrage? Haven't you watched the TV series? Of course, just count it with your fingers. Yeshi was also a little surprised by the information revealed by Beihe boy, so he asked the system to verify it. Ding, I did contact you, the host. I don't know the specific reason. The host was not in the solar system at the time. It's not a big problem. I only have one question. He doesn't even consider whether I'm in Blue Star or not, and then he chooses to send me an invitation letter. Ding, host, you cannot be deduced or calculated. Even Bishanzun can't do anything about it. Currently, Zhen Yuanzi and Wuzhuang Temple are not aware of any malice towards the host. The host can make his own decision. Yeshi nodded in his mind and just confirmed that there was no problem. I really want to know why Zhen Yuanzi started to follow me so early after trying to find out before. Has he also accessed my live broadcast room? Ding, after checking, I have not accessed the live broadcast room to watch the host's live broadcast. It should be due to some personal reasons. Maybe the host is invited now because of this special personal reason. Yeshi was thoughtful, thinking about the strange things about himself one by one, and then he stopped thinking about it halfway. Because there are so many things about him that others pay attention to, so that he still can't figure out why the ancestor of the earth immortal of Wuzhuang Temple paid attention to him so early. At this time, Yeshi Fang didn't know that a secret that was shocking to the world was about to emerge from Zhen Yuanzi's mouth. At this moment, although Yeshi could not figure out what Zhen Yuanzi was thinking, he at least knew that the other party did not have any malicious intent. When the live broadcast here appears as before, the war in the outside world is also going on in darkness. The world was turned into a swamp, and then slowly repaired by unknown forces. Flying stars often explode from the sky. These flying stars carry powerful forces and rush towards the entrance of the abyss on the earth. Then, they explode with a bang, blowing the monsters in the abyss into pieces. After death, they are resurrected from different abyss layers. The son of the contemporary version, the abyss, does have powerful power. Each layer of the abyss has a powerful god who holds power. Although countless gods were killed when the heaven was strong, these gods could not be completely eliminated. Even if they died, they would still be resurrected in the abyss. So that later the heaven only sealed them instead of slaughtering them. If the heaven had not accumulated too much, the abyss would have knocked down the heaven long ago. Of course, it was thanks to Taisu who got the best of both worlds. In the dream power that Yeshi holds, there is a dream world. He has only been to that world once and does not value it very much. In fact, the structure of the dream world is very similar and close to the abyss. It's just that the abyss layer in the abyss has become a dream bubble in the dream world. The immortals and gods who were lost in the dream world were awakened by a burst bubble, and their minds that had been sinking for countless years were awakened. And Yeshi also met the ancestor of earthly immortals, the great immortal Xuanhuan. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pianhai. Chapter 510. This crane-haired childlike figure with an air of ethereal immortality about him is none other than Xuanhuan, whom everyone has been waiting for. This ancestor of the earthly immortals has always been very mysterious. It is rare for ordinary people to see it even in the era of heaven. The most well-known is the legend of seeking scriptures from the West. If there are any further rumors, they have been traced to the ancient times. Therefore, even in Kunlun ruins and above heaven, the understanding of the ancestor of the earth immortal is quite limited. At this time, some people are full of endless curiosity about this place. Why did the ancestor of the earth immortal invite this evil star to Xuanhuan temple? He was not afraid that the dojo would be overthrown. If it was overthrown this time, there would be no Yangzi Xianlu to save his ginseng fruit tree. That's right. This evil star seems to be heading for the ginseng fruit tree in Xuanhuan temple. Now there will be a good show. Silence, the news about us here should not leak out. Whether it is the heaven or the abyss, stay far away. Don't be affected. Take a good look at what this guy wants to do. He has both the power of the heaven and the abyss. The authority of the abyss may not be safe for long. Last time, I almost killed half of the heaven. Even though it was the small heaven of Kunlun ruins, do you really have a way to deal with him? It is not an easy matter to deal with him. After all, he has two gods. Even those at the same level as him will have a headache. That's not called dual gods. One is the system of heaven, and the other is the authority of the abyss. How can this person accommodate these two powers without conflict? It's incredible. Does he have a special method? Of course, otherwise why do you think you were able to seduce both parties to attack him at the same time this time? I heard that a place he visited left the aura of Taishu. You understand, this information was given by Taisu, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Where is Xuanhuan? What is he thinking about? Why did he invite him? What is the connection between the two of them? Could it be that he is an earthly person? Why don't you turn on the live broadcast? If we want to know, just keep watching. This evil star is quite strange. Why are you still here playing live broadcast at this time? Otherwise, we won't be able to know what's going on here. It's almost okay. I'm getting an advantage and acting like a good boy. Although the whispers from the air and underground were not translated into words and posted in the barrage in the live broadcast room, most of them were still captured by Yeshi. Well, how should I put it? The authority from the abyss that he currently holds in his hands is indeed extraordinary. Otherwise, he would not be able to hear the information from the abyss in real time. It can only be said that for the abyss system and the heaven system to converge on the same person at the same time, in the body, those who only have a single system cannot understand the mystery. How to put it, the abyss is like Yeshi's home, he can hear the sounds in his home at any time. So when he smiled at Xuanhuan, different voices sounded in Yeshi's mind. The vast sound of Taoism came from the sky, from far to near, and gradually rang in Yeshi's ears, and the white crane boy took 2 steps and turned into a flying crane and flew to Xuanhuan's side. Your Wuzhuang temple is really good, and it is not affected by the outside world at all. It was originally outdoors, with jagged rocks, dense trees, white clouds, and green bamboos. It was so beautiful. But in an instant, the divine water flowed, the springs and waterfalls harmonized, and the dangers of the mountains and rivers were close at hand. The scenery changed, and everything in front of them was harmonious. It's no longer the same as before. A majestic old tree rises from the ground, and the voices of giggling children can be heard. There is a round stone table on the soft ground, and stone benches and other drinking utensils are available. Please. Xuanhuan still had the spirit of immortality. He sat down first, then raised his hand and waved twice, and the 2 little people, not much bigger than a palm, fell down. These are 2 ginseng fruits. Yeshi was thoughtful. The other party's attitude seemed to be a very high-level response. But looking at the ginseng fruit that looked like a miniature baby, he just nodded, placed it on the plate in front of him, and then sat down. I have always heard about your reputation as the great immortal Xuanhuan, the ancestor of the earthly immortals. I'm really sorry that I didn't tell you about this visit in advance. By the way, I'm live broadcasting now. If you can't accept it, I will live broadcast now. Cut it off. Yeshi still pays great attention to the privacy of the people who appear in his live broadcast room. Of course, this has nothing to do with Xuanhuan frequently looking at the camera in the live broadcast room. No, I'm just curious about it. This kind of live broadcast is a bit interesting, but it may bring you a lot of trouble. But from now on, it seems that the trouble that has caused you is not as much as imagined. Yeshi knew what the other party meant. There were many things that could not be told or shown directly to others. I pay attention, I am a very stable person. He. I didn't notice it at all, neither did I notice it was stable, nor did I notice it was a human being. Xuanhuan was non-committal to Yeshi's words, and didn't know whether he agreed or disagreed, but the white crane next to him, acting as a decoration, had a slightly weird expression. Actually, I invited fellow Taoists to come in because I have something to ask. It didn't take long for Yeshi to hear these words, probably because he felt that the foreshadowing was enough. Yeshi was not surprised. He also had a few questions to ask the other party. You say. Yeshi touched the 2 ginseng fruits while asking Xuanhuan to speak directly. The 2 ginseng fruits were pale, and there was a sense of Tao flowing in them. The mysterious aura even aroused the greed of the people watching the live broadcast. Yeshi was not moved at all, just watching. He occasionally heard the crying sound from the 2 ginseng fruits, and his lips curled up slightly, but he didn't say anything. Although those things were not noticed by others, the scene in front of him was actually quite strange. Because Yeshi did not change his state because Xuanhuan was in front of him. He still looked very frivolous, casually, like he was chatting with a big man on an ordinary street in Blue Star. It was like a modern person chatting with an ancient person, full of disobedience. Many people who watched the live broadcast felt very surprised, and some people thought more deeply that they were worried that the Wuzhuang temple would collapse. Yeshi also saw this speculation. He could only say that the other party was overthinking, and it was absolutely impossible this time. This time he was serious. Yeshi indeed felt so.